Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys exec sounds off on Trey Lance as Dak Prescott decision looms. While the primary goal of this offseason for the Cowboys appears to be tightening the belts so as to find money to pay the star trio of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, an offshoot of that could well be for the Cowboys front office to convince Cowboys Nation, and perhaps themselves, that the team would be just fine if it let Prescott walk in free agency next year. Hey, we've still got Trey Lance. The Cowboys, of course, swapped a fourth-round pick to the 49ers for Lance last offseason when it was clear that Lance was not going to win the starter or backup jobs in San Francisco. For Dallas, though, Lance remains a former number 3 pick who is just 23 years old and gives the Cowboys a bit of leverage in contract talks with Prescott, who is in the final year of his deal and slated to make $55 million. The talks with Prescott have hardly even gotten underway yet. The Cowboys are expected to play hardball. Cowboys executive VP Stephen Jones was asked about Lance on the K&C Masterpiece show on 150.3 in Dallas this week and gave him a ringing endorsement. He just exhibits everything you would think a top 5, top 10 pick would exhibit, which is what he was in the draft and which is why we gave up a significant draft pick to get him, Jones said. Trey Lance has shown work ethic. Lance, at least, has exhibited those traits in practice. The rest of us would not know, since he has not appeared in an NFL game since September 2022, when he fractured his ankle, an injury that kept him out for the year. Certainly, main attraction the Cowboys are selling on Lance is the talent he showed ahead of the NFL draft in 2021. Lance has had just an 8-game career sample, too small to make a judgment. Lance has 797 career passing yards, and rushed for 235 yards on 54 carries, 4.4 AVG, in 8 career games. But Jones said he's seen Lance's work ethic in action. What you look for in a quarterback is, the work ethic is a must to be successful in this league. It's a very demanding position, he said. Trey exhibits similar type work ethic as Dak Prescott. Obviously, Trey is a really good athlete, in terms of being able to move around and his athletic ability. And finally, the most important thing is his arm. He's got a very live arm, very strong arm. He continues to improve with his footwork and his accuracy, which is what you expect from a young guy coming into the league. Cowboys Stephen Jones. Team is excited about options. The question about Lance arose from a discussion about next week's draft, where the Cowboys will have the number 24 pick in the first round, as well as number 56 in the second round, and number 87 in the third round. The Cowboys have a 5th rounder, a 6th rounder and 2 7ths. Jones was asked whether the team would take a quarterback if he was the best player available, even with a packed room that has Prescott, Cooper Rush and Lance on board. It's hard to get out front right now and say what might be there, Jones said. But certainly, we'll go through all the different possibilities that may happen as we move into next week. Obviously, we have been hard at work getting our board put up and really getting everything sorted out the right way. Next week is a big week for us in terms of the what. We do feel great at quarterback, with Doc and our acquisition of Trey last year. Trey has done nothing but excite us even more as he has worked here all of last season and then in the off-season, in terms of his work ethic and skill level. We're very pleased with him. Analyst questions Cowboys over being all in this offseason. It's been almost 3 decades since the Dallas Cowboys last made it to the NFC Championship game. Even so, because of their ever-growing popularity, their constant presence in the media, and their profitable brand, they continue to be deemed America's team. Then again, that strategy of always being talked about isn't always positive. If anything, 75% of the things said about the Cowboys are always negative. The team doesn't seem to pose a legitimate threat, and almost no one takes them seriously as a contender, even when they're playing well. Needless to say, that has everything to do with one man and one man only, and that's Jerry Jones. The players, coaches, and staffers have all come and go, but Jones continues to be there. That's why NFL insider Mike Florio ripped the controversial owner for claiming that he would go all in during the offseason. Florio called Jones out for not addressing contract extensions or making any major moves, or some moves, during the offseason, stating that he's officially changed the definition of going all in. Jerry Jones hasn't done that this year. He never has. He's apparently not willing to do anything now that might force him to take a step back in a later year. Because when the Cowboys ever fade from contention for 2 or 3 straight years, they might lose their hammerlock on the America's team moniker and the profile and profit that goes along with it, wrote Florio, via Pro Football Talk. There has been a lot said of Jones and the way he's handled the team from former players, and none of those things have been of course. He's done an outstanding job of building the brand and making it the most valuable sports franchise on earth, and that's got to account for something. As for finding any sort of sports-related success, that's a whole different story. Everybody knows the Dallas Cowboys name, but not a single opposing team is afraid of them anymore.